Guys, welcome to excelfornoobs.com. In this video series, I'm going to show you how to create and work with Microsoft Excel tables. Alright, so what I have here is I have a range of cells that contains data. This by definition is a table, but it's not an Excel table. Okay, what this is different information of real estate listings and the agents that are the sales agents for the listings. And what I'm going to do is I want to convert this into a table. If you want to go ahead and enter this data in to your Excel worksheet and follow along, you can. You don't have to make it as enter as much data as I have. I have 48 different rows. You can do something like 10, 5, 12 rows, whatever you want to do, just something similar, and you can follow along. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a table. I'm going to convert this range of cells into a table. To do that, I need to select the entire range of cells. I'm doing that here. I select the entire range of cells that I want to convert into a table. Then up here in the I click the Insert tab, and you can see we have the Tables group. I'm going to click the Table button, or Table command. Alright, here there's is the Create Table dialog box. My table has headers. There's this option right here, the checkbox that says My table has headers. We have headers in this table. You can see here where it says agent, county, street number, street name, square footage, and so on. These are column headers. We have them there, so we want this box to be checked. And you can see that our column headers have our drop down buttons where we can sort and filter our table. And that's one of the biggest, I guess the most useful things for tables is being able to sort and filter. Alright, so if we didn't, let's just assume we have a table, or we had a range of data that we wanted to convert into a table, except we didn't have column headers. I'll just show you what would happen. Alright, so I just copied and pasted a few rows out of that table. I'll go in here. I'm going to insert the table just as I did before, except for I'm going to unselect the My Table Has Headers because I don't. Click OK, and you can see here I added some generic column headers. Column 1, column 2, column 3. I would just go in here and rename them. Agent, county. If I didn't like the style of that, I could change the font to whatever color I wanted in size. Alright. Okay, something else that tables have, you can see they're automatically styled. And I'll go into more detail on the styling, but whenever you add a table, it automatically adds styles by default. Something that's really cool about tables, say you have a lot, this, you can see that my table is not entirely visible on my screen. Now, if I have a cell selected within the table, and I start scrolling down, or using my mouse, you can see up here that my column headers replace the column letters. So even though those are in row 2, even though row 2 is not visible, my column headers are still visible. And this is extremely useful whenever you're working with a table. Say every cell within the table contained numerical values. It could get pretty confusing. You might think you're working in one column and you're accidentally working in another column. So that's where it would become useful. Okay, now let's kind of go into how to style your table. Up here again, you select you can select any cell within your table, and this Table Tools contextual tab will be there available for you, and then the Design tab, which is only available if you're working within your table. You can see it's not there anymore. Click on the table, and it's made available. Right here I have different pre-formatted um, table styles. And I can just scroll through and click them so that they're all visible. Instead of me having to scroll through, I can also click this more button right here. And now you can see I have light, medium, and dark. And it's just a preference. Preference, whether it's your preference or whoever you're creating the table for. Another thing you can do is custom table styles. You go in here to your, again, you have to have a cell within your table selected. In the design tab, click the more button right here. And then get down to the very bottom. You're going to click on this new table styles command. And you have different options right here. You have the new table styles dialog box which appears, and you can just click on whatever you want to change. However you want to format your custom table style. Add some colors, and you can see there I added something to the last first column. Maybe add some effects. This is the fill effects dialog box. Maybe add some patterns, whatever you want to do. Patterns with colors and effects. Alright, I don't know why I would use that, but I could. Click OK. Alright, it did not, as you can see, it didn't automatically convert my table into that style. But there's a custom tab up here, and whenever you mess with them, it'll throw your custom table styles up in there, and you can use it. If you really like it, you can make it your default. Alright, another thing we're going to go over is you have the table style options right here. Let me get this back to a more useful table style, I guess. More common table style. Alright, so I'm going to click on the cell again so I can activate this design ribbon, the contextual tab, the table tools. Click on the design ribbon. Right here are my table style options in this group. Alright, this header rows is by default checked. Banded rows is checked by default, and the filter buttons. Alright, so the header row, basically if I uncheck this box, my header rows disappear. They're still there. You just can't see them. They weren't deleted. Alright, I just click that, they come back. Now, what happens if I were to enter something here? Into, this is cell D2. Now what happens if I go here and I click my header row? It pretty much just shifted my table down one row, is what it did, but it still did not delete my column headers. Alright, let's undo this. Let's put our column headers back. Okay, the total row, if I were to check that, it doesn't do that by default, but it adds a total row to the very bottom of my table. You can see right here in the very bottom right cell of the table, automatically summed up the list price. In every single cell in the total row, I have options of formulas. I don't think that there's a formula that I would want to use for counties or street numbers. Even though these are numbers, this is still qualitative data. This is not quantitative data. Now, square footage is qualitative data. Say I wanted to find the average square footage, I can go down here and select the average formula. It's right there, made available to me. The variance, standard deviation, any formula I want, I can add there automatically without having to actually enter the formula. Same thing with bedrooms, bathrooms. I could find the average or the total number of bedrooms that we have listed available. Alright, right? That's what the total row is.